My fellow students, welcome back to my second monthly address. Student government has covered a lot of ground in the past month, and we plan to cover even more in November. So keep your ears open and allow me to review our progress. After my first monthly address went live the last week of September, the Beebe Student Senate convened in its very first session of the academic year. We welcomed new members of SGA and heard from Chancellor Methvin on the necessity of being vanguard and getting involved on campus, where she encouraged the Senate and other students, faculty, and staff present in leading the charge at ASU-Beebe. At the actual session, we adopted new bylaws, set the dates for Substance Abuse Awareness Week, Harvest Week, Hispanic Heritage Month, and Indigenous Peoples Day. We also approved a petition to allow a group of students to form a Young Democratic Socialists of America chapter on campus. Finally, money was approved to provide for the foundation of new food pantries on the Heber Springs and Searcy campuses, and SGA will be facilitating the creation of such pantries for the overall good of the students at those campuses and the improvement of the lives of those people in those communities. That following day, I met with Amaya Jordan, the student government president at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, where she toured Secretary Asia Simmons and I around their beautiful campus while we exchanged ideas, projects, and structure. I concluded the first part of my diplomatic missions with Henderson State University and Lyon College that following week, where I again met with their student government presidents, Jordan Jones and Alyssa Bunatello, respectively. These diplomatic missions are all in pursuit of a goal that the Crusade administration has been aiming toward: connect and actively communicate with other student governments with the end goal of creating a statewide student government organization. I intend to meet with other student governments in the future and hope to bring some delegations to our campus eventually. On September 30th, SGA participated in the Psychology and Social Sciences Club's Suicide Prevention Walk, where members joined students in walking the SGA Mile Walking Trail to raise awareness and of resources available to students and employees to prevent suicide and support survivors of suicide loss. As I have stated in the past, I want to remind students that if they needed any help or assistance with anything, whether or not to be mental health related, we have the resources and the capacity to help you. Please just let us know and we will provide any assistance that you need. To see some of these resources, take a look at the back of your student ID card. There are numbers for the campus police, ASU-Beebe Student Emergency Services, the National Suicide Hotline at its new number 988, the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and the National Domestic Violence Hotline. October 10th through the 14th recognized Substance Abuse Awareness Week, where SGA assisted with events and programming throughout the entire week to spread awareness about the substance abuse and educate students on the dangers of substance abuse. That Monday featured a drunk driving simulator where students could try their hand at operating a tricycle with goggles that simulated the effects of consuming alcohol in order to bring awareness of the dangers of driving under the influence. Tuesday featured table talks with student success coaches who talked about the resources for addressing substance abuse. Finally, that Thursday featured mocktails during lunch with additional information about substance abuse, with material and literature being provided by the Arkansas Department of Health and their campaign to save our students. That next week, I, unfortunately, was plagued with another illness. Fortunately, it was not COVID, but the work of student government continued regardless. That week, the week of October 17th, ASU-Beebe hosted a college fair for high school students who will be or are in the process of applying for college. Various student government members and leadership scholars assisted in such events. On October 20th, the Executive Cabinet and Student Activities Council met to plan events of the semester, or the remainder thereof. I intend to detail some of those events later in the speech, but the two groups intend to meet again during the winter break to plan the spring semester. Remember, SGA is always open to any suggestions on literally anything, especially events, and I highly encourage clubs and RSOs to sponsor their own events as well. Now, as of recording this, we are in the midst of Harvest Week, and the Harvest Social is just hours away from starting just behind me. Harvest Week kicked off with a pumpkin carving activity where students had the opportunity to carve and paint pumpkins to promote the spirit of Halloween and the culture surrounding Harvest Fest at ASU-Beebe. At present, the Harvest Social is soon to kick off, a long-standing ASU-Beebe tradition where students come together to elect a king and queen. I have the privilege and honor of being the one to crown those individuals. Now, I wish to now present to you all our highly anticipated ideas and plans for the upcoming month. To start off November, student government will be hosting a candidate meet and greet with local candidates running for office in the general election on November 8th. I encourage all students to participate and to get to know these candidates and those candidates that seek to represent you and those in your community in a real-life legislative body. You should take every opportunity to exercise your civic duty, and I expect and hope that all students of ASU-Beebe will take the time to engage with those candidates. The theater department will then open its performance of Big Fish on November 3rd through the 5th. I encourage all students to take the time to watch this wonderful performance, which has been meticulously planned and rehearsed by our amazing theater students for weeks. Arts and humanities compose a significant portion of the culture surrounding ASU-Beebe, and I wish to promote them and their cause in any way possible. November 7th will kick off the First Generation Student Week, in which the Student Activities Council is still actively planning programming and events to honor First Generation college students. November 8th is Election Day, and I want to also encourage students to take the time to vote if you are registered to do so, because as I stated before, the number one duty of a citizen of the United States is to use your voice, no matter what your opinions or beliefs, by voting. That same day, the Beebe Student Senate will convene in a special session to discuss proposed constitutional amendments to the SGA Constitution. I want to remind the student body that all meetings of student government are free, open, and public, and I encourage students to engage with us. We are also actively planning events and programming for Veterans Day on November 11th, in which the Office of Admissions will also be sponsoring a preview day that day, inviting high school students to tour the campus and view ASU-Beebe departments. November 14th through the 18th is International Week, where each day will feature different cultures, traditions, lifestyles, food, and other such educational information. In a world ever progressing technologically and coming even closer together, it is only necessary that we educate ourselves on other people's lifestyles and cultures from across the globe. Toward the end of that week, SGA plans to host a giving day to allow students to make thank you cards, ornaments, and other such paper-esque crafts to give students to give to students for a giving tree program and the tree lighting ceremony in December. Details for such will be finalized soon, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on such. The Campus Service Council is also in the works on planning a campus-wide food drive to revitalize and build back the food pantry, which is, as a result of the pandemic, has been forgotten by a significant portion of the student body. As the weather gets cooler and as we celebrate thanks, we should think about those who are less fortunate and dedicate ourselves to a cause that supports their literal livelihoods. More details on such will be finalized or released in the coming weeks, along with other upcoming and tentatively planned events from SGA and from our various clubs and RSOs. As I stated in my first monthly address to you all, our utmost duty is to serve and represent you while providing events and programs to support you in your college endeavors. We are making such a reality here in the Crusade administration. We are slowly but steadily building back Beebe, taking on the combined hopes and efforts of us all. Sometimes we have faced obstacles, but we get over them. There have been and will be setbacks, but that should not stop us from achieving our ultimate goals. We have done much in the past month, and I hope to only continue to do more in the pursuit of representing you and bringing forth necessary progress to the student body and all of ASU-Beebe. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to my continued service to the student body. I also hope to speak to you all again soon. And remember, be Vanguard.